If you are thinking about moving to Katy, Texas, I need to tell you a few things that nobody else is going to tell you. Not the stuff in the relocation brochures, not what you'll see in the listings, the real stuff, the things my clients wish they had known before they showed up for their first showing. Real quick before we get into it, I'm Linda Walker, a licensed realtor here in Katy with the Sears Group. I help buyers and sellers all across the western Houston suburbs, Katy, Cypress, Fulshear, Richmond, and everywhere in between. If anything in this video resonates with you and you want to talk through your situation, I'd love to be a resource. The best way to reach me is to call or text me at 630-546-1033 or email me at linda.walker.sears@gmail.com. There's also a link right in the description below. Okay, let's get into it. First thing you need to understand about Katy, and this surprises almost everyone, is that Katy is not one suburb. It is 4 completely different areas. 2 highways divide Katy into 4 quadrants. I-10 runs east to west. Grand Parkway 99 runs north to south. Those 2 roads create 4 completely distinct sections of Katy, and they behave differently. They feel different. They have different price points, and the commute experience is completely different depending on which one you're in. The southeast, Old Katy, this is the most established part. Closer to Houston, closer to the energy corridor, great for people who are commuting downtown or to midtown. The homes here tend to be older, more mature landscaping, larger lots, and because it's more established, the prices are often more accessible. The southwest, Cinco Ranch, and beyond. This is the gold standard of Katy master planned living. Cinco Ranch is one of the most iconic communities in the entire Houston metro area. Miles of trails, resort-style pools, lakes, golf course, access to top Katy ISD schools. This is where a lot of families want to land, and the resale values reflect that. The northwest, Ellison, Grange, newer communities. This is the newest growth area in Katy right now. New construction, modern floor plans, builder incentives still on the table. Ellison is one of the crown jewels, resort-style amenity center, the Ellison Cafe, beautiful trails and lakes. If you want something brand new, you're looking northwest. The northeast, closest to energy corridor. If your daily commute takes you to the energy corridor, I-10 near Barker Cypress, the northeast quadrant gives you the shortest drive. It's more established, more affordable, and the commute advantage is real. The big mistake I see relocation buyers make is treating Katy like one big blob on a map. You have to know which quadrant fits your daily life before you start touring homes. Now let's talk about Katy ISD, because this is one of the top reasons families choose Katy over every other Houston suburb. Katy ISD is one of the highest rated school districts in the entire state of Texas. The district has over 74 campuses and a very strong track record of high achievement from elementary all the way through high school. But here's what people don't always realize. Not every address in what people call Katy is actually zoned to Katy ISD. Katy sits across 3 counties, Harris, Fort Bend, and Waller, and a handful of communities on the outer edges are zoned to other districts. Firethorn, for example, is split, and part of it feeds Katy ISD, part of it feeds Lamar ISD. Some new construction communities on the far northwest edge are zoned to Royal ISD, so if Katy ISD is a non-negotiable for your family, and for a lot of my clients it is, you need to verify the specific address, not just the neighborhood name. I always do this for every client before we start touring homes. And for what it's worth, Lamar ISD is also a very strong district, but I just want you going into this with accurate information, not assumptions. Okay, I have to talk about flooding. I know, every time someone mentions Katy, someone else mentions Harvey, and I want to give you the honest picture, not the sales pitch. Here's what's true. Less than 8% of Katy homes and businesses flooded during Hurricane Harvey, which was a once-in-a-lifetime storm event. The vast majority of Katy neighborhoods did not flood. Most Katy neighborhoods sit in what FEMA calls Zone X. That's the low-risk flood designation. But here's what I tell every single buyer I work with. Zone X does not mean zero risk. It means lower risk. And FEMA flood maps are based on historical river patterns. They do not fully account for new development or drainage changes. The areas to be more cautious about are near the Addicks and Barker reservoirs on the far east side of Katy. Those were specifically impacted during Harvey. Most of the newer master plan communities further west, Ellison, Cross Creek Ranch, Firethorn, Cane Island, these were largely unaffected. Here's my practice. For every single home I show a client, I check the flood map, I check the seller's disclosure for flood history, and I have an honest conversation about it, because you deserve to know exactly what you're buying. And one more thing. In 2026, FEMA updated flood maps in Harris County, expanding some high-risk boundaries in the Katy and Cypress corridors. So this isn't a set it and forget it conversation. It's one you need to have with your agent on every specific address. Let's talk about traffic, because if I don't, someone in the comments will. Katy has a lot of homes in a relatively spread out area, and most commutes require crossing or taking a major highway. Rush hour on I-10 heading toward Houston is real, and it can be slow. But here's the context that matters. If you're commuting to the Energy Corridor, about 25 minutes in normal traffic. If you're commuting to Sugar Land, about 35 minutes. If you're going all the way downtown Houston, plan for an hour during peak. The good news is that more and more Katy residents are working remotely or hybrid, which completely changes the commute math. If you're only going in 2 or 3 days a week, Katy's location is genuinely great. My recommendation, before you commit to a specific neighborhood, do a test drive at the time of day you'd actually be commuting. Not on a Sunday afternoon, on a Tuesday morning at 7:45 a.m. That one drive will tell you more than any map ever will. Okay, I want to end on the good stuff, because there is a lot of it. Once people are actually living in Katy, the thing I hear most often is, I had no idea it was going to feel this much like a real community. The parks are genuinely incredible. There is almost certainly a park within a 5-minute walk of wherever you end up. Mary Jo Peckham Park, Katy Park, Mason Creek Trail. The outdoor amenities are real. The amenities inside the master plan communities are resort level. Pools, trails, event lawns, fitness centers, community events. Ellison has a cafe. Cane Island has a resident cat. Cinco Ranch has a golf course. These aren't marketing talking points. They're things people actually use. And then there's the lifestyle. Katy is what I'd call suburban done right. You have access to everything Houston has to offer, but you come home to a neighborhood that feels calm and spacious. Katy Mills Mall, La Centera, great restaurants, top healthcare, all right here. For families especially, it is one of the best places in Texas to put down roots. And that's not just my opinion. The data on long-term residents bears it out. People who move here tend to stay here. If this video was helpful, I hope you'll reach out. This is exactly what I help people with every week. Whether you're ready to start your search, still deciding if Katy is the right fit, or just have questions, let's talk. Call or text me directly at 630-546-1033 or email me at linda.walker.sears@gmail.com. The link is right in the description below. And if you got value from this, please hit subscribe. I put out local content like this every month, so you always know what's actually happening in Katy. I'll see you in the next one.